Hey everyone, it's Friday, June 26, 2020. Welcome to episode 18 of the Ginger and the Beard podcast. Got my drumsticks out way too late on that one. What a fail.
Whoops.
Oh man. What's up guys? I'm AJ, aka The Ginger.
And I'm Reese, a.k.a. The Beard.
And if you're just tuning into the stream or you're watching the recorded version of the show, we just got done playing Valorant for the second week in a row. So make sure you check out that video on YouTube. On this week's show, we'll be talking about the next UFC Fight Night, Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker, recapping the announcements made at Apple's WWDC event this week, so much stuff to talk about, and some major news in the video game space, and so much more.
But before we dig into all of that, how was your week, sir?
It was a good week, man. It was super hot here, super hot. But it was a good week. I full week at home working with no kids around the house. They're back at school, and Shayna's back at work, obviously, but we get to spend our lunch breaks together, which is super cool. So we got to go out and be productive and go get lunch with each other, and it was just kind of nice. It's a good week. How about yours?
Good. It was good. We've been going on some walks all week, which has been very nice. Got the puppies out there, getting them on some really nice long walks. Loving that. The garden is coming in very nice. We lost a couple of the blooms. Wife's garden is doing great though. But more important, probably not more important, but I'm super excited that I got it is a new keyboard, dude. A Ducky keyboard.
Oh yeah.
Let me just show it to you real quick. I'll show it to you a little bit more later though.
Give you a little sneak peek.
Well, bam. I almost want to turn the lights off just to show you, but we'll show it a little bit more. Maybe I'll turn the lights down just so you can see the glory.
I just want to reach out. I want to reach out and touch it. Let me touch it.
Yeah, man, I'm loving it. But hey, I think I want to give out a little bit of some social plugs, maybe a little bit. You okay with that?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Hey guys, so I also wanted to remind everybody to follow us on our show here on Twitch, right? That would be very helpful to us. It would mean a lot to us. We just hit affiliate, which is awesome. So I mean, follow us some more. Maybe even subscribe if you want to. You can cheer. It's amazing. Oh, hey, thank you.
Yes,
did we just get a
Toby?
sub?
Man, we did.
So
thank
cool.
you, Toby.
It was perfect timing, man. Thank you so much, Toby.
He was waiting for it.
He probably was.
Toby, you're the man.
Yeah, but okay, so also like and subscribe to us on YouTube. That would also be very helpful. Subscribe on your favorite podcast player. If you really want to help us grow, sub on Apple Podcasts. That's kind of very, it's kind of like the hub for a lot of people. If you can give us a 5-star review, that will go a long way on our discovery there. We're also on Google now. We got on Google last week. Just telling you guys again, we're on Google, so check us out there. And as always, we appreciate your support, and we're glad you're here. Toby, dude.
So glad.
Thanks, man. That's
yes,
awesome.
We love you, Toby. Thanks, man. We appreciate that. Oh,
that
wow.
being said, AJ, what are you drinking? I'm gonna go ahead and slide us on over into this little "What are you drinking?" slide.
To our new segment here. Yeah, you guys check out these new little bars here at the bottom. It tells you what section are we in, and what's our next segment gonna be. So if you want to kind of scrub through and find your favorite topics, you can do that now. Just a little upgrade to the show. Hope you guys like that. But yes, I am drinking, sir. And before I get into my drink, I want to give a shout out to the voters on Instagram for the third week in a row. The voters on Instagram gave the power to the people, and for me, sir, they chose this magnificent,
so sleek,
beautiful Lotus IPA from Farmhouse Brewing. I mean, how cool is that can? A nice, if you guys don't know. Yeah, if you're not a car person, this is actually a Lotus. I think it's a Evora, maybe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it is a Lotus. So it's called Lotus because it's actually brewed with Lotus hops, right? And I actually hadn't heard of Lotus hops before I started looking into this. I'm gonna go ahead and crack it open when I'm talking about it. But yeah, like I said, from Farmhouse Brewing, my favorite brewery here in Virginia Beach. 7.2% ABV white IPA. So a white IPA, as it turns out, is a hybrid of an American IPA with a traditional Belgium wit IPA. So Belgian wits are a little bit on the yeastier side, where the American IPAs are more on the citrusy side, which, we got a ton of citrus IPAs around these days. But let's go ahead and give this bad boy a pour away from the keyboard.
Definitely away from the keyboard. Nice little ginger in the beard glass you got there. Rocking that swag.
Oh yeah, ginger in the beard, 16-ouncer. My camera has focusing issues. When I want the camera to focus on an object closer to it, it will not. But when I don't want it to, it will focus on like a speck of dust in front of it.
As the world is.
Shout out Logitech.
Yeah, good job, Logitech. Fix yourself.
But yeah, so let's look at that. So it's a white IPA, which is a little bit usually a golden sort of hazy color, which you can see here. But yeah, so these Lotus hops I found pretty interesting. I looked it up. These things were created by Hopsteiner and released in 2019. So the interesting part is they've been developing this strand of hops since 2006. 13 years they've been mixing and matching and breeding. I guess you call it breeding. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Crossing different strands of hops to form new strands. Since 2006, 13 years in the making. And so the Lotus hops it gives off an aroma of vanilla, orange, and candied grape, among other tropical fruits. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this.
Oh, that looks good.
Oh, it's so good, man. I definitely get the orange. I mean, it's definitely not as citrusy as what you'd find in a lot of these other crazy citrus IPAs, but I do actually get some of the vanilla, which is very good. Candied grape. I mean, I guess if I'm really searching for it and you tell me there's candied grape in there, I can kind of pick up a little bit. But very tropical, easy drinker, very light, 7.2%. Definitely not too heavy on the ABVs there. So I strongly recommend this one. I'm not sure how far Back Bay actually distributes this, but very delicious beer.
Okay, cool. That's so interesting because I don't really like IPAs as much. Certainly not the like the doubles or the triples, but I really like wheat beers, right? And so if that's a wit, right? If that's a wit beer, I wonder how that would taste to me. Does it taste more like an IPA or does it taste more like a blonde ale / wheat beer?
I think, like it's described, it's kind of a good mix of both. I mean, it's not super hopped. Like they don't give the IBU for this, or at least I couldn't find it. So I'd say it's somewhere in the middle though. It's definitely not like extremely hoppy, but you do get some of the hops on the back end. But yeah, it's kind of hard to describe. I'm trying to get better about my beer descriptions, but
no worries.
I don't know. For someone like you who's not huge into the bitter IPAs, I think it's definitely it's a happy medium, 100%.
All right. Okay. When I get down there, I definitely want to try that one. Because next time I come down, we're going to Farmhouse. I mean, it's just kind of obvious.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I joked with my wife earlier today. I was like, I think I'm slowly converting Farmhouse Brewery into a fan of the show. As many times as I tag them on Instagram and buy their beer.
Have they been? We'll talk about it later. That's awesome though.
They've been interacting a little bit on Instagram. So shout out Farmhouse. Love you guys.
Sweet.
And I've got a couple more of these in the fridge. So if maybe I can save one towards the back for you, so I don't drink it on accident.
Hey, I'm not asking any favors, but if I come down there and there's one waiting, I'm not going to complain. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what about you, man? The people spoke with your beers too. What did they choose?
So I had two brews up. I brought the brewery back So 2 weeks in a row, I brought this brewery. Ghosts are red, and it's got downvoted both times. It hasn't won. The beer that did win though is Wheels Gosa Round, just like Wheels Go Round, but it's like Wheels Gosa
Such good
Round.
play on words.
I know.
Let's look at the
so
stats
funny.
really quick. I'm
Let me
curious
stay
what were
away
the
from my
stats here.
keyboard real quick. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, let me know that. I don't actually know the numbers. What was the percentage on it? Was it lopsided?
Give me a minute. Go ahead and talk about it. Let me give me a minute. I'll find it.
All right, so real quick, this is made by Left Hand Brewing Company. Most people probably know them by their milk stout with the black and white and red case. Their marketing. So going right into it, you probably know. Oh, Left Hand, I trust them. They sound good. So guys, this is a lemon plus raspberry Gosa. Haven't had a lot of lemon ones. I've had some raspberries though. 4.4 ABV, very light drinking, 14 IBUs. Really, really easy going here. Awesome fact. This is probably the most important fact about this beer. It was brewed to help raise awareness for multiple sclerosis research.
Whoa, that's super cool.
Left Hand's raising money for multiple sclerosis research. Since 2008, they've raised over $4.4 million.
Wow.
How crazy is that, dude? Isn't that
Good
awesome?
for those guys. That's great. I wasn't sure what what the wheels part, why that ties in, but now that makes total sense.
Yeah. So
That's
they're also
awesome.
backing a race as well. So that ties into it as well. But I mean, yeah, multiple sclerosis. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know that it's like atrophy on your muscles.
Yeah, they a
over
lot of
time.
times end up in wheelchairs and power chairs and things like that. So that's an easy tie-in.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's described as having a nice, strong Gosa flavor, but just enough raspberry and lemon that you can taste them, but they don't become overpowering. So let's go ahead, man. I'm gonna pop this sucker open. I moved the keyboard back. Did you get those stats?
Stay away. Yeah, let me read these stats while you're looking at that, or you're cracking that open. So yours, Wheels goes around 71%, compared to Goses are red, which was 29%.
Wow, man. Nobody likes Gosas are red.
Yeah, I will say. So, oh man, let's just look at this. Let's enjoy this for a second. That's a great color. It's a really great color.
It's like nice and pink, a little bit. It's almost like a blood orange kind of in a way.
Yeah, it's a nice head there too.
Yeah. So there it is, guys. Let's go ahead and get that Instagram shot real quick. How about it?
Oh yeah,
then
let's do that.
And then I'll go ahead and take a sip and tell you how I feel about it.
All right, here we go. Did we get
Cool.
it? Think we got the
I
shot?
think so. Yeah,
Let's
we're
make even
good.
let's make funnier faces. Ready? Here's some funny faces. Okay.
All right.
For you
All right.
audio listeners out there, we're trying to get an Instagram picture, so
Yeah, we're
just
making-
bear with us here.
We're making funny faces over here. Don't mind us. Okay, first sip. Here we go. Wow, it's like, huh? I might be immune to Gosas. That doesn't even taste like a Gosa. That's like just like drinking like fruit juice almost. I get like just like the tiniest little bit of saltiness, right? It is actually a little sour and a little tart, just like barely though. I think the sourness is coming from the lemon.
Yep.
But overall, I feel like I'm getting mostly just raspberry from this. But it's like very easy to drink, dude. Like this.
Yeah, I mean,
this is probably like an entry level Gosa.
That's something for me. Both of us have. I mean, I wouldn't consider this IPA to be super entry level, but definitely not the hardest IPA I've ever drank. So we should swap.
It's like, we
swap.
should swap. We should. It's a little bit. I get a little bit of bitterness on the back. Like after a couple seconds, you kind of get a little bit of bitterness on it. But yeah, man, definitely recommend that one. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of swap, I didn't realize before getting into this podcast and like really kind of expanding our reach into this industry, how much swapping and trading and stuff goes on in the beer fans
Oh, yeah.
among beer fans, right? So I was actually
yeah.
listening to a few different podcasts this week. I was doing some like networking with other podcasters, and there's one called Church of Hops, and these guys were talking about these different beers that they acquired. Some from like Drecker. I'm not sure if you've heard of Drecker, but they have these crazy dessert beers. I wish I could get my hands on some.
No.
Some of those are like extremely rare and hard to get. But
Do you know how to
so
spell
like
it?
I think it's Drekr or Drekar. I can't remember honestly, but they have some like
Oh.
crazy dessert beers that I would love to have on the show one day. But yeah, and the people in this industry and like this I don't know, I'm calling it industry, but just craft beer fans out there on the internet are so willing to help you find stuff that you can't get in your local area. So just reach out to people; they're always up for trades. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
gotta
real
get more
quick,
into
just wanted
that.
to. Yeah, me too, man. Really, I do. Real quick before we move on, I just wanted to shout out to the voters. I had 79% Lotus IPA votes over 21% over the Great Outdoors from Brothers Craft Brewing. So if you
Wow.
breweries are out there listening to us, make sure you share with your fans to get some more votes. And we love that. It's like my favorite time of the week to put the vote out there for people and see what they want us to drink. So thank you guys for participating.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, get the votes in your favor, and we'll try your beer live. I mean,
Live on show.
give you a little
All
bit
right,
of free
man.
advertisement.
Yes. I think we should move into some beer news now. What do you think?
Yeah, dude. I think you had a story for us.
Yeah, actually, this comes from another local brewery. I love supporting local. I know you do as well.
Absolutely.
This is Tradition Brewery in Newport News. That's about 30 minutes from where I live. Is teaming up with the local Animal Aid Society in Hampton, Virginia, also about 30 minutes from where I'm at. And their goal here is to get dogs adopted. I should have prepared an image for this part, but I kind of forgot. But Tradition
Okay.
Brewery has canned some beers with the pictures of real life dogs that are at the Animal Aid Society in Hampton, Virginia, along with some
Oh.
stats about the dogs, like what kind of dog they are, like how old they are, different things like that. And the beer they've named Chase and Tail. It's a pale ale. So they're distributing that. You can only purchase it in the tap room at Tradition Brewery, but their goal is to get these dogs adopted. They're starting with like 3 specific dogs at the shelter, and the main reason is because with the COVID crisis, the Animal Aid Society hasn't been able to adopt out as many dogs as they usually have. So that's kind of what they're going after. So if you are in the 757 in
Hmm.
Hampton Roads, please do check out Tradition Brewery. I believe it starts. I don't believe. I know the beer goes on sale starting July 3rd, next Friday. So check them out.
Wow, that's really nice of them, dude. That makes me sad. I feel like my wife and I are gonna have to go get a new dog.
Yeah, I wish we could adopt all of them in the world, but unfortunately we can't.
She's probably listening right now, shaking her head. So, anyway, anyway, dude. All right, that's awesome. That's so nice. I love to hear stuff like that. And right in line with those good deeds, I have a little bit of news. So Anheuser-Busch is delivering, or has delivered actually, upwards of 50,000 cans of emergency drinking water to support California residents that were recently impacted by a water emergency. Dos Palos, California, recently declared a water emergency that impacted, their water supply. So all their good water was, not drinkable. So out of the kindness of their hearts, I guess, Anheuser-Busch said, "Hey, let's get them some water. Let's get them some drinking water. Let's get these people hydrated."
Yep.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think they've actually done that in the past too for like some of these bigger national or natural disasters like hurricanes and stuff. I think that's always really, really cool for a big company like that to pitch in and help.
Yeah, I agree. Really cool. And then one final thing is I just want to show this real quick. Wha-bam! You guys can see it on screen right now.
Oh,
Founders is taking a new take on their KBS. It's a variant. It is a maple Mackinac fudge. Maple Mackinac fudge. I don't know what Mackinac is. I believe it's a type of coffee essentially. So they're using Mackinac fudge coffee. I'll have to look up what Mackinac is, but it's based out of Michigan. It's something There's some kind of specialized fudge that is in Michigan that I've never had before that is like renowned as Mackinac fudge. So if you guys are from Michigan and you know about that, leave us a comment. Tell me, what the heck is it? But they also add maple. Yeah, dude, right? Mackinac. Say that a bunch of times.
It sounds like something that comes from Michigan, just with their accents.
Yeah.
They probably pronounce it Mackinac.
Mackinac.
But Mackinac.
Wow.
We love you, Michiganders.
Yeah, we love you guys. Let me know how it is. I really do want to know. So it's Mackinac fudge coffee. They also add maple syrup and age it in oak bourbon barrels. So it sticks with that bourbon barrel. It's a bourbon and barrel stout, Kentucky bourbon barrel stout. But maple syrup and fudge coffee, dude. What? It's 11% ABV. Guys, it's debuting November of this year, essentially. November 2020. It's going to come in 4 packs of 12-ounce bottles. I don't know what the price is going to be. It's probably going to be a little expensive, but probably worth it. What do you think?
Dude, you had me at Mackinac.
You had me at Mackinac. I love it. I love it. That's all the beer news I have for now. But
yeah. In all seriousness, that actually does sound really good. Maple syrup plus oak bourbon barrels. Give me some.
Oh, absolutely, dude. My mouth's watering. I got to drink some beer now.
There we go. All right. I think we're about to transition into our next segment. Watch this beautiful transition happen. We're going to go to a pause break screen and then come back in our new segment.
Be right back, guys. Hey, we're back. It's time to talk about UFC Shenanigans.
Yes. All right. So real quick, we're going to move through UFC kind of fast because we've got so much to cover when it comes to technology. So usually we spend most of our time here in this segment, but we're going to kind of blaze through this one so we can get to all the crazy tech news. So really quick, we've got a fight night tomorrow night, the 27th at the Apex facility. The beer just threw it up on the screen. How do you like these new graphics? Let us know about that in the comments below. Send us a message on Instagram, Twitter, all those places. But yeah, Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker. Both of these guys are ranked fighters. Dustin, the Diamond, Dustin Poirier, number 3, and Dan, the Hangman Hooker, number 5. I'm honestly super excited about this fight. I think that this could easily be on a pay-per-view card. Probably not headlining, but it could easily be on the main card. Any initial thoughts from you, Mr. Beard, about this fight?
I mean, think about like Dustin Poirier, right? Like, didn't he just fight for the title? He literally he's like the title contender, and he's not on a main card. That seems a little odd. I think that basically what they're saying is that these guys aren't going to bring in a lot of money. They don't have a lot of fans, and they're going to put him on this undercard just so that they can get a fight in. But they're not going to be winning, Conor McGregor money anytime soon. So that being said, Dan Hooker is a great up-and-coming fighter. Dustin Poirier, lots of experience, and beyond that, he's got some hands. I'm very interested to see how this goes.
He got them hands 100%.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, real quick, I think Dan Hooker, dude, I don't think there's anybody as tough as Dan Hooker in the sport right now. I've seen him. He's had some brutal beatdowns where he's just like outlasted like unhumanly. I mean, maybe I'd put him up there with like Tony Ferguson in terms of like durability. He's coming off a win over Paul Felder. It was a decision. Some people think questionable decision. But I was looking back. He's on a 4-fight win streak. I held up 3 fingers when I said 4. That's concerning. 4-fight win streak. And he actually, not long ago, beat Gilbert Burns, I think in the last couple of years. So Gilbert Burns, as we know, just ragdolled Tyron Woodley, and he's up to fight Kamaru Usman. And just overall, Dan's a super technical striker, man. He doesn't have, I think he may have a couple of wins on the ground, but mainly he's up there. He wants to stand and bang. So that'll be a good matchup because Dustin Poirier, like we said, he's got them hands, and that's what he's looking for too. But yeah, you're right. He did just fight for the belt against Khabib. We all know how that turned out. But he's been fighting top-level athletes for a long time, man. He beat Justin Gaethje, right? So another title contender right now. And he's got amazing boxing. So it's kind of up in the air to me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're very well matched up. I think that they're both good strikers, Dustin's got good, boxing. He's very good at boxing, but he's also I know he was a brown belt in jiu-jitsu last time I checked. Actually, I think he's a black belt now in jiu-jitsu. So like he's no slouch on the ground. I'm pretty sure he was a black belt during the Khabib fight. Now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, so. I think these guys are going to stand up and they're going to bang, and whoever's more technical, more sound in their striking, they're gonna walk away with the victory here. I don't really see a knockout. I don't think. I feel like this is going to go the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Poirier's got the power to put Hooker out, honestly. But yeah, I agree. I do agree with you. I think this does go the distance. And also, whoever wins this fight stands to fight the loser of Khabib versus Gaethje, 100%. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Considering.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, considering Poirier's already beaten Gaethje once, that would be a pretty cool story to see the rematch there. But either way, it's gonna be good. So co-main. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like Gaethje could beat Dustin if they do it again, but that's.
Oh yeah.
That's
he's come a long way. I think he's come a long way since that fight.
Yeah.
All right. So our co-main is Platinum Mike Perry. You can't say his name without saying Platinum Mike Perry versus Mickey Gall. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Neither of these guys are ranked. I've seen like maybe one Mike Perry fight. I'm not sure if I've ever seen Mickey Gall fight. I'm not really sure what to make of this co-main.
Mike Perry is kind of like your standard bruiser, brawler. I don't think he's very technically sound. He's just kind of out there for the KO. You can look at his win rate. He's got 85% of his wins are by KO. 85% by KO. That's a little crazy? So
that's pretty crazy.
And he's against a guy like Mickey Gall, who's it's kind of weird that it worked out like this. He's got 83% of his wins by submission. So we got a striker, a big heavy-fisted brawler, versus a technical submission grappler. So yeah, guys. I think in these instances, it's kind of like all right, well, the grappler's either going to get knocked out in the first round or the brawler's going to get submitted in the second or third round. So I think I told you this on your Instagram post, AJ. I'm calling Mickey on this one, man. I've seen him fight a couple times. He's looking pretty strong. He's still relatively young in the game. I think Mike's been around for a little bit longer. I know Mike Perry's susceptible to submission losses. He lost against Cowboy Cerrone via armbar. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Mickey on this one, man. He's got to play it safe, and he can take it home as long as he goes in there with some caution.
Yeah, I think there's this new wave of fighters that are coming in. They're just like super aggressive, and they just press forward no matter what. And I think Mike Perry falls into that bucket. I mean, I don't know which fight it was. I should look back on this. Somebody let us know. But where his nose was completely smashed into his skull, and he was still banging. So he's definitely a brawler, 100%. You definitely got that right. And I'm interested to see what his stamina is like if he gasses out in the first couple rounds and Mickey gets him to the ground. I would definitely support your prediction on that one for sure.
See how it goes, right?
And also something weird I saw on Instagram today. I haven't really looked into this, but apparently he's gonna have his girlfriend in his corner. I'm not sure who his girlfriend is. I'm not sure if she's a fighter or like what she is, but he's going to be in the corner. And apparently the reason that he gave was to motivate him and so that she could see the action or something like that. I'm just like, that's kind of a weird, like, you don't really want, okay, so I don't want this to come off wrong, but you don't really want the distraction of your girlfriend or significant other in the corner. You should have your coaches that are like telling you, the coaches and your team have the ability to like take the emotion out of it and keep you calm, but your significant other is going to be like, pretty worked up that you're getting your face punched in. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. I feel like it. I mean, it probably doesn't even have a whole lot to do with it being like his significant other. It's just the fact that you want like professionals in your corner that like know the technical side of it and can give you advice You
Right,
know, as
exactly.
you're like fighting for your life, right?
Exactly.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
he's a brawler. He's got that savage mentality. So maybe that's what
Savage.
he's tapping into, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right, so moving on from that, we got some news from the man himself, Mr. John Bones Jones.
Oh, you want to do that one, or you want to do the T Money one?
The T Money one. Wait, what are you talking
Tyson. Are you going on to Tyson now?
about? Oh, yeah, I think we're going on to Tyson. We're going on to John and Tyson.
John and Tyson. Let me just show you guys this graphic. What do you guys
Uh-oh.
think? Anybody listening on your podcast, you got to just tune in to see this graphic.
You have to. 100%. I can't wait to clip this episode and put these up. Oh, my gosh. All right, so I represent Team Jones. You represent Team Tyson.
Yeah, Tyson.
Man, look at young Tyson in that.
Oh, I know.
What a strapping young lad he is.
You know that's not real, though, right?
I know. What is that from, like a boxing video game or something?
I guess. I don't even know. Like, he's not in a UFC video game, but he's got UFC gloves on there. So I
Might.
think
They probably
took somebody
put him
else's
in.
body. I think they put.
Maybe.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right. I've never played it, so I wouldn't know. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of.
I know it. I've played I've played 1 and 2 UFC. Actually, I think I had UFC 3 for a while. But I know the UFC 4. There's been a lot of chatter around that. But anyways, let's move on to the story. John Jones versus Mike Tyson. Okay, that sounds extremely ridiculous, but it's actually something being talked about. So another one of these sort of weird Twitter things happening. John Jones, of course, we all know, is having some scafus. Is that how you say it? Scafus or is it staffus? What is it? Snafus, yeah. Snafu with the UFC right now because he doesn't think he's getting paid what he deserves to be paid. So Mike Tyson sent out a tweet saying if John Jones wants to make that big money, he wants to make that Conor McGregor money, then he needs to fight me in a UFC, a boxing match. So he threw that out there. John Jones took the bait, replies back to him. He's like, hey, I'll fight you in a boxing match. He's like, let's make it happen as long as we can take it to the octagon afterwards. And he said, my favorite part is at the end of his tweet, he said, I promise not to break anything on you because I have so much respect for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that, dude, that's cocky. Wow. Okay.
That is cocky, but also if he got Mike Tyson to the ground, he'd probably be in big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right because I don't know. I feel like Mike's been training on jiu-jitsu, though. I think he talked about it when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. So you never know.
Oh,
but
really?
it's John Jones. I mean, wouldn't it be crazy if like Mike Tyson just like came out and knocked out John Jones, though?
Oh, I mean, dude, I wouldn't give him more than 4 rounds. There's no way. It's Mike mother-loving Tyson what we're talking about here. Come on.
And he's back in shape, dude. It's not like when he came back, like after like going to prison and he was all out of shape and didn't care. Like he's like back in shape, even though he's like in his 50s. Like,
I've seen some videos and
have you seen him? Dude. He's looking scary right now.
he is very scary, and he's got like this new mentality about him too. I think it's like a more enlightened Tyson than we've seen before. But I've seen some videos of him actually like helping to coach Henry Cejudo in his boxing game, and yeah, I'm like, gosh, dude, I would not want to stand in front of that guy.
No, definitely not, man.
He would really mess you up.
I'm going out to the bars on if they do that fight. I'm watching it for sure, man.
Yeah,
Definitely gotta go watch that one. Although, I mean, it probably will be a letdown, but still, I want to see it.
I don't think I 100% don't think he would last as long as Conor McGregor did against Mayweather.
No, I don't think so either, man. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But Mayweather's a defensive fighter. Tyson's a very aggressive, go destroy you fighter. In one of his interviews, he was like, when I'm standing across the ring from you, I want to kill you. I want to eat your babies. I want to kill you and eat your babies.
Your babies.
Your babies. I want to kill you and eat your babies.
Babies. Oh man,
I
why are
wish
we
I could
being
do the
we're
voice.
being mean tonight? Sorry, making
Are
fun of
we?
accents and.
Well, I mean, he's got a
Lisps.
funny voice.
I know he knows
I'm
that.
still scared of him. I think somebody
Oh, yeah.
that's scary you can make fun of and they'll be okay.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so speaking of John Jones, one last thing really quick about this UFC contract not getting paid. He wants more money, blah, blah, blah. He has now said that he's willing to sit out of his contract for the next couple of years until they're ready to pay him what he wants to get paid or deserves to be paid. And I'm not going to spend too much time on all of that because we've talked about it already. Look at him there on the screen, John Jones, money hungry, Johnny Bones. But it is interesting. I'm actually kind of glad this is all kind of coming to light because it's a terrible time for it, if I will say, because every company in the world right now is their backs against the wall when it comes to finances. You know, just like you're the restaurant down the street, the UFC is also suffering a little bit. They're not getting ticket sales like they usually do. So now's the worst time possible to start talking about money, right? But it's interesting that all this stuff's coming to light because there have been some really, really, thought starter sort of articles and things published in this realm. Number one, Sean O'Malley came out and said that he claims he's only gotten $3,000 out of the $1 million that Reebok has made from merchandise with his namesake on it. So I guess that means like t-shirts with O'Malley's name on it or shorts or gloves or whatever it might be. He's only gotten $3,000 from Reebok. That's a crazy percentage, okay? Granted, he is a pretty new fighter. The other one that I saw, and I actually didn't even write this in our show notes, is that Paige Van Zandt came out, and she's got a fight, I think, on UFC 251 coming up soon. She was recently on Dancing with the Stars, which, to be clear, I do not watch Dancing with the Stars, but she says that she made more money on Dancing with the Stars than she has in all of her fights, all of her bonuses, all of her sponsorships combined from the UFC.
Wow.
Okay,
Dude,
and this is not that's not a no-name fighter. Paige Van Zandt's a pretty big deal in the women's, UFC.
Oh yeah, they're totally using them, They're like cattle, right? They just use them. They take advantage of them. They're like, oh, but they're self-contracted or whatever, which basically gives the UFC, means to just do whatever they want. You kind of just have to be like a very good negotiator or do what these top-level fighters are doing and saying, okay, you want to play like that? Then I'm not going to fight for you anymore.
Right.
Which is what they all should do. They should unionize. If they were smart, dude, they would unionize and then there you go. Then they'll get taken care of. And then the UFC will have to bend or they'll break.
There just needs to be more competition in the space too. Like, I mean, Joe Rogan talks about this on his show. We've talked about it on our show. Everybody talks about it. Like, you've got Bellator, you've got ONE FC, you've got these different promotions, but they just don't compare to UFC, unfortunately. And until that happens,
they don't have Dana.
Exactly.
Dude, Dana?
I mean, I love the UFC. I love Dana White. I think it's a great organization, but they really do need to kind of relook at this stuff.
Dana's a blessing for entertainment and a blessing for the fans and the customers of UFC, but he is just an absolute devil for the fighters, man. They don't care about those fighters, man. So
yeah, I mean, I guess they're in a unique position because the UFC is kind of like a big corporate organization, right? Like as much as you feel valued in your position at a giant corporation, there's always a replacement. There's always another you out there. So just like if John Jones left UFC today, which he kind of is threatening to do so, right? So what? There's going to be somebody else to take his position, right? Like
exactly.
There's 1,000 more fighters for every big deal money-making UFC fighter out there who would be happy to take less money to get a shot at that title. So I don't know.
And you know what? He's kind of on his way out anyway. He almost lost his last two fights. So I mean,
yeah. I mean, I kind of side with the fighters here. I do think there should be. I don't know. I think there should be a better way. There's got to be a better way. They need to make more money. This is their livelihood. You can't expect them to put their all into the sport if you don't pay them to do it. I mean, Sean O'Malley is a perfect example. I don't know how much he's made for his last fights, but there's no wonder these guys are like begging for fight of the night bonuses when they get a knockout, right? Like they're trying to they have to train for 3, 4, 5, 6 months before each of their fights. They have to do it every single day. Like, do you expect them to have a full-time job plus train at night and in the mornings and pay
their coaches and pay their gyms?
gyms,
and pay
coaches.
for food. Like,
yeah, food, nutritionists, like everything, man. It's crazy.
And I see the strategy now. Good thing you mentioned that. The fight of the night bonus. I know we got to get moving because we're like spending way too much time on this. But the fight of the night bonuses is like, oh yeah, they just keep thinking that the fight of the night bonus is great and everything. But it's like, really, it's still nothing. That fight of the night bonus is like, it's just a way for the UFC to be like, oh, see, no, we rewarded you. But it's like, no, you didn't. I'm out here almost dying every time I fight for you guys.
Exactly.
So
literally putting my life on the line for you.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think with that, we should transition. Damn it, Reese. Yep. We spent too much time in this section.
I know, dude. I know. We're going to have to just go over, man. We started a little bit late. We'll probably just go over a couple minutes. It'll be okay.
It's all good. It's all good. We're just too passionate. We just like it too much. So, anyways, let us know. Before we move over, I just want to say, let us know what you guys think about these fights coming up. What are your predictions, and what do you guys think of, I don't know, my voice just cracked like a 13-year-old. What do you guys think of this whole pay situation? Let us know in the comments.
All right. Be right back. Whew. And we're back. We are so back. Guys, I told you at the beginning of the episode that I got a new keyboard. The Beard's got a new keyboard. Guys, let me talk about it real quick. One thing I want to do, I'm going to turn these lights off a little bit so you can kind of see my face and you can see the keyboard. Look at that. All right?
Yeah.
Notice something real quick. There's no numpad. There's no function keys on here. It's a 60% keyboard. Okay, guys, I'll tell you exactly what this is. This is a Ducky Mecha Mini V2 mechanical keyboard. What's so special about this? First off, it's a 60% keyboard. It's so small. It's tiny. It's got black. It is so cute. It's got black double shot PBT with backlit clear legends. Basically, it's just the fact that you can see the keys on there. Those are the clear legends. The PBT means that you don't ever get that like shiny, glossy look on it after you use it for a long time. It kind of keeps that like matte kind of look, which, you know, I really like that matte look on my keyboard. So it stays that way. It's made out of titanium.
Such overkill.
It's actually, you know what? I misspoke on that. I'm sorry. It's not titanium. It's cast aluminum. I'm so sorry.
All right.
I thought it was titanium. You're right. It would have been overkill, and it probably would have been a lot more expensive. It's cast aluminum, but this thing weighs 826 grams. 826 grams. That's almost a kilogram, guys. It's heavy. It's really heavy. There's a dual layer printed circuit board on it, which allows it to have a ton more RGB settings. And then additional to that, I'm using Cherry MX Blues, which are tactile and clicky. Can you hear it?
Listen to that clack. Oh yeah, we can hear it.
Just so like that, guys. Takes 50 grams of force to get that thing to recognize that you pressed it. And then real quick, if you hit the Alt function and hopefully I don't drop this thing, and T,
please
you
don't.
can start. Oh wait, hold on. What am I doing wrong here? I think I hit the wrong buttons. Is it this? Nope. You know what? I forget how to do it.
It's all good. Use your manual.
No, that was it. Hold on. Why wasn't that working before?
Are you trying to change the light settings? Lights?
Yeah. Here, I'll show you this. So this is just plain green. You can change it. It can pulse like that. It'll go around like that. That's nothing. It'll give you the rainbow effect. It'll give you the slow transition effects. This is my favorite one. I like to think of this as like bubble gum. I don't know what to call it, but all of the different keys are changing all kinds of crazy colors. And then I'm not going to change it past this one, but the other couple are like when you press the button, it does like a reaction, either a wave, you know, or it'll just light up and stay lit for a while. So, boom. What do you think about that, dude?
I freaking love it, dude. Mechanical keyboard users unite. Shout out to us if you guys are mechanical keyboard users. Both of us now have mechanical keyboards of different variants. Love it,
Hold
man.
yours up. Let's get a picture.
Oh, okay. It's corded in right now. It's wired in, so I can't. Hold on, let's get a finger point. Finger point action.
Sweet.
Everything we do for the gram. But I heard your wife loves the
marketing.
keyboard. I heard your wife loves it.
Of course she would say something like that. Yeah, she doesn't. It's too loud.
No, I say that because when I got mine, Shayna was working beside me still at home, and she was like, "That one sounds worse than the last one you had." And I was like, "I'm sorry, but I love it. It feels great. I'm happy with it." That's awesome, dude. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you got that. I thought that it was going to take longer for you to get it. It was definitely a wait period for you. So yeah. Congratulations to you.
Dude, it took 6 weeks for me to get it. So, but
yeah, and I'm jealous of your PBTs, your PBJ keys, because I have the ABS. Got the ABS plastic. I've had this keyboard for maybe 2 months, and it's definitely getting some shine on the keys already. Okay. Which is a little unfortunate. So, but the good news is we can always order more keycaps.
Oh, Ballin in chat just told me what it is. It's called raindrops. My keyboard effect, the way that it works. I'll show it to you guys again. You can kind of see it's called raindrops.
I think I have that setting actually also on mine. Let's see if I can cycle through to that one. I don't particularly like that setting personally, but
yeah, I don't know why. There's something about it just kind of. It's kind of relaxing.
Kind of soothes you.
That's exactly what it is. It's soothing.
Like real raindrops.
Falling on my head.
I think I've got it.
Raindrops are falling on my head.
Oh yeah, here's mine.
You got it?
I don't know if you can. I'm not sure if you can see it.
Yeah,
I got too much light. Too much light going on, maybe. But
yeah, dude. There it is.
Raindrop it up. All right, so moving on. We're running quite behind actually. I'm gonna fly through this. We were planning on this being like a big kind of a main segment here, but I'm going to fly through this WWDC recap. So for starters, WWDC, it was a virtual event like we talked about last week. Make sure you listen to last week's episode. But it ended up being about a 2-hour long, what I would describe as almost an infomercial, because they did it completely virtually. They had their Apple executives at the Apple headquarters, and they were filming this event with like screens behind them and different animations. It seemed like a very well produced infomercial, but I will give it to them. It was like very top notch production quality, as you would expect from Apple. But I'm going to run through some things really fast that I actually am excited about. And maybe we'll do a separate video. I might do like a separate video just to kind of go through the details, but really quick, let's touch on some of the highlights. Number one, iOS 14 was announced. So what is iOS 14, you ask? Isn't it always just something silly little updates? Usually, yes, but this time iOS 14 is actually a pretty big shift in the usability of the iPhone. So you Android users out there, please don't laugh, because we know Android users have had these functionalities for a long time. This is Apple's MO, okay, right? They wait for stuff to be ironed out, fleshed out, then they come back and they do it one step better. So they've introduced what you're seeing on the screen right now in the middle iPhone is widgets on the home screen. Mind blown. Widgets on the home screen. Whoa.
Never seen that before.
So there are actually a couple cool things they're doing with them. They have something called Smart Stack. So if you imagine that iPhone that's in the middle of the screen, one of those widget sections, which you can actually customize to take up like the full width of the iPhone or whatever, you can do something called Smart Stack. So you can actually essentially lay like 3 or 4 widgets in the same spot. And so at any time you can kind of swipe through the different widgets. So you could have weather, stocks, music, things like that, and you could swipe through them and interact with them individually. But also you can set it to smartly display. So essentially, if your phone thinks that in the mornings you like to look at the weather one, then it shows the weather one. And at night you like to show the settings one, so you can turn on Do Not Disturb, it shows that one. So it uses a little bit of machine learning there, which is pretty cool. The phone on the right is showing an app drawer. Second mind blown. Apple now has an app drawer. They actually call it the app library. But you can finally hide apps from your home screens on iPhone. full
Sweet.
screens at a time. So if you are a person right now that you've got 8 different home screens for your iPhone, and the last 3 screens are actually apps that you never use, you can open up a window and hide those 3 screens, which hides all of those apps at the same time. You can access them via list view, or what you're seeing on the stream right now is these, again, kind of automatic categorization of these apps based on their function. So super cool.
It looks clean.
It is very clean. That's one thing you could say about iPhone, is that it is very user friendly when it comes down to it. So I'm excited to get those features for sure. Moving on to messages, I think you had an image for messages as well. Some cool new features coming to messages. Really quick, gonna run through these. You can now pin conversations. So if you always are texting your wife or always texting your mom and dad or whoever, you can pin that conversation to the top of your messages list. Seems like an easy feature they probably should have had 5 years ago. But you don't have to scroll through your other messages to get to those that you like. They now have mentions in group messages. So if you, I don't have this problem, but if you are somebody who has like 10 friends in one messages group, maybe you have coworkers that you're in a group message with, you can actually mention people by name in the conversation, and then you can look at inline replies too. So you can filter your message down to just that conversation that you're having with those few different folks, and you can kind of blur out the rest of it, so that you can get to what you need to see, which is pretty cool. One other thing about that mentions is that you can essentially turn off notifications for that group message unless you personally are mentioned. So
Okay.
Perfect example of why that's perfect example of why that's beneficial is like, I'll be in a group chat with my parents, for instance, and they're asking me about something, and the conversation is done, but then my parents don't realize they're on the group message, and they're like, hey, I'm coming home from work at this time, I'm gonna stop by the store and get this thing. Okay, cool, see you then. I'm fixing dinner. And it's just like, okay guys, I don't need to get these text messages. So that's cool.
Exactly.
And then the last thing I'll touch on for iOS is that there's now some more language translation support. They have a new translation app for the iPhone that will run natively, and you can legitimately turn your phone horizontal, have one person on this side who speaks English, one person on this side who speaks Spanish, and you can talk into the phone, and it'll translate in real time what you're talking about. So that's pretty cool.
Oh my God. I'm buying an iPhone, dude. You've turned me. Like, you've said like 4 things tonight where I've just been like, okay, I think my next phone's probably going to be an iPhone. And you know that I've been dedicated to Samsungs.
Yeah. And your Pixel phone. You're going to ditch your Pixel?
Oh, yeah, my Pixel. That's what I've been using. I hate my Pixel, though. I want my Samsung back. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Talk to me when you see the S20 drop, and maybe you'll change your mind.
Okay.
But so anyways, pretty cool stuff. I love they are slow to bring some of this stuff out, but once they do it the right way. All right, so moving on from that, I want to talk about Mac OS, and I know you got an image for that too. What I want to focus on here with Mac OS, if you haven't looked into it yet, I would suggest going to Apple's website, looking at some of the stuff they've introduced, but I've got a theory here, and I'm not the only one with this theory, but as you look at these images for Mac OS, you'll see some similarities, some direct ripoffs of what iOS and iPad OS look like. So the dock there at the bottom looks just like the dock on an iPad. The icons now have these rounded shapes to them, look just like the icons on an iPhone and an iPad. The what do they call it? The control center that you see at the top right of the screen there looks just like what you find on an iPhone and an iPad. Okay? Now, remind you, the iPad recently launched, the latest Pro launched with a keyboard and mouse support. So it's a lot more like a laptop, and now their laptops with the new software are a lot like an iPad. So we see some trends here. I see like a slow progression here, and I believe what's going to end up happening is that the Mac eventually, two things could happen. There could end up being touchscreen support for a Mac, or we may see something a few years down the road where Apple goes the way of Microsoft and introduces a convertible iPad / MacBook, right? So you attach your iPad to a keyboard, which also has compute power. If you guys don't know about the Microsoft Surface, the keyboard itself in some models carries compute power. So the Surface Book, right? It has an actual GPU inside of the keyboard. I believe it's a GPU. So when you connect your tablet to the keyboard, it gets additional power. So I could 100% see Apple going this direction in the near future based on just what we're seeing in the software. So something to keep our eyes on.
Okay.
That's all I really want to say about macOS. And the final thing I want to talk about WWDC, I feel like I did this in less than 10 minutes, which is actually quite impressive,
Yeah.
is Apple announced, they made it official. Last week we talked about it. We kind of hinted towards the fact that Apple was going to talk about releasing their own CPU for their upcoming Macs. And they made it official on Monday at the WWDC event. Starting at the end of this year, Apple will release Macs that contain an Apple proprietary CPU, the A12Z Bionic chip. So the Intel Macs are going the way of the Dodo, even though they probably will still release some for the next couple of years. They say the transition is going to take about 2 years before they fully have a lineup of just Apple CPUs. But again, to my last point, the A12Z Bionic chip is the same CPU that the iPad Pro 2020 uses. Okay, so are you guys all following me here? Same CPU, same look of the software, same icons. iPad supports keyboard and mouse. What's happening here? What's happening?
Is there going to be like a copyright issue here? Like, I don't think so, right? Because they're still proprietary. Like they still hold like is there a way for Apple to sue them over this? I don't know. I feel like that's not really something I'm an expert on, but we'll find out.
No. I'm saying Apple, the Mac owned by Apple now looks the same as their iPad software.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're merging. They're basically bringing their software from their tablets and their Macs closer together, slowly, and eventually, I believe they will be one.
They should anyway. Does this mean that it's the end of the tablet, right, as we know it? You think tablets are just going to go away? Tablets are a thing of the past?
I think it's possible. I mean, I think tablets, maybe as we know them today, might go away. I mean, why else would they have given the iPad Pro keyboard and mouse support? You know, I think they've realized that using a slab of glass in many cases is not ideal without a keyboard. So having the option, the flexibility to detach from a keyboard, which in the future may contain its own compute power, makes a lot of sense. If you just need to go take some notes, or you want to, I don't know, watch a movie or something, you don't need all that compute power. But if you need to edit a video, or you need to edit some photos, then you need to attach your keyboard, which contains the extra GPU, and can really push forward on those graphics. So very interesting stuff. Like I said, the transition is going to take a couple of years. But, I missed one last point. The one last point is that with Apple having their own silicon now, their own CPU, iOS apps and iPad apps will now run natively side by side with Mac OS apps. So iPad apps and iPhone apps will run on MacBooks just natively without issue. So that's my final point as to there's some sort of merger happening here. So last but not least, developers, if there's any developers out there listening, there's a transition kit available, which actually uses the Mac Mini enclosure. It's the most affordable of the Mac lineup. It's a little box about this big, which actually includes the A12Z Bionic chip that you can use as a developer to go ahead and start working on your apps and making sure they're going to be compatible once these Macs roll out with the new CPU. So that's all from WWDC. Like I said, maybe we'll create another more in-depth opinion-focused video later down the line. But let's move on from that. What else we got in tech news?
All right, dude. I definitely agree that we should do that. I got something very interesting. I just want to show quickly and just run through the specs on this thing. So I'm going to show a video right now. No audio. I just want you guys to see this thing, right? In fact, I got to turn the audio off on my side because it's still playing. But real quick, this is the CHUWI LarkBox. It's a PC that's so small you can hold it in the palm of your hand. It is 2x4 by 2x4 by 1.7 inches. So it's essentially like 2.5 by 2.5 inches and then 1.7 inches. It's like tiny. It's teeny tiny.
Small.
It's got an Intel Celeron J4415 processor. That equates to 4 cores. 1.8 gigahertz base, 2.4 gigahertz boosted. It's got 6 gigabytes. Can you believe this? 6 gigabytes of RAM on that sucker. It's an LPDDR4 RAM, believe it or not. It's got 128 gigabytes of storage. Dude, how is this possible? 124 gigabytes of storage. It's a hard drive. It's an eMMC storage hard drive. It's also got an M2 slot under the hood so that you can upgrade to an SSD if you would like to.
What?
My God. Real quick though, it's got a UHD 600 GPU. What is a UHD 600 GPU? I'll tell you. It allows you to play things on it with similar graphics to those of a PlayStation. Hold on, let me turn this back off. You guys got to see it. It was teeny tiny. Similar graphics to that of a PlayStation 1, a Dreamcast, or a PlayStation Pocket. Good old PSP. Oh my gosh, it's got 2 USB 3.0s on it. It's got 1 USB-C, a 3.5 millimeter audio jack. It's even got a micro SD slot. How is this possible? It's got onboard Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Wait, there's more.
And all that being said, guys, it's pricing right now on Indiegogo. We'll send you the link. We'll put the link in the description below so you can go check it out. 155 pre-order on Indiegogo. Do you want something that you can just walk around and plug into wherever you want with that much computing power on it? Computing power? I sure do. After it's done with Indiegogo, it's going to go to retail at $199. Wow.
Man.
Clip that, dude.
I love the energy around that. I love that, man. It's like what is this? Is this a computer for ants?
It is. It's a computer for ants.
It's a computer for ants. It's so awesome, dude.
I can't believe it. Wow.
This is the future. This is why I think the computers should live in our phones. The phone should be our computer. Microsoft has tried to get us there. Samsung has tried to get us there. Apple has not done that yet, but this should be it. This should be all you carry around. This is your phone. This is your messaging device. You should plug this bad boy into a dock and it becomes your computer. That's the future. And obviously, with what you just shown us, we are getting close. So
you know, one thing I didn't mention though is they didn't say anything about a fan or an exhaust or anything like that. So I'm wondering how hot this little box is going to get, man. I bet some of these, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these suckers explode, right? We'll find out.
What if it does have like a tiny little fan? It's just like zzz, like that's the downfall. It's like, this is a great piece of hardware, except for it's extremely obnoxious to use.
Yeah. It's like a little bumblebee buzzing around. And it also didn't mention, the power either. I'm pretty sure it just plugs right into the wall, though. I don't think it would need that much power. It's so small.
Yeah, USB power. You plug it into whatever the monitor is that you're using. Maybe, I don't know.
There's no way. I mean, with all that stuff in it, it's got to require. I would assume at least like 300 watts of power just to power. Anyway, that's enough.
That's the fine print. The fine print is that it's like the computer's this small, but it comes with a power brick that's like this.
But you have to carry around a power brick that's 4 times its size. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's good. That's awesome. All right, guys, it's time to transition again. We're going to go ahead and talk about a couple of video game bits of news, and then let's get this thing going. I'm going to go ahead and transition. Be right back. And we're back, guys. We're back. We're on that gaming grind. All right, guys, we got a couple bits of information. Let me go through them real quick. First off, Twitch bans Dr. Disrespect. Who's Dr. Disrespect?
No.
This is Dr. Disrespect. You can see him on the screen. He's like probably the most renowned Twitch streamer there is. Probably the most well-known, probably one of the highest paid. He's very entertaining. He is banned. Not just banned. I'm talking permanent banned with no notice and no specific reason given. And sources say that it's permanent. What? Why? If anybody follows Twitch at all, you know, they recently had something. I actually participated in it on Wednesday. #Twitch Blackout. It was basically a boycott of streaming and viewing on Twitch, because the DCMA rules that they have, all of their regulations and everything, they're picky and choosy on it. And beyond that, they're not enforcing their sexual harassment, their racism rules. They're just like letting it go. They're just like, whatever, right? So no specific reason was given. We know that Dr. Disrespect was banned last year at E3 for videotaping in the men's bathroom. He got banned for 2 weeks. People were upset when he got unbanned because other people would have got banned permanently for something like that. So either they're rectifying that past ban, which doesn't make sense to me, or there's something that he probably mentioned on stream or his character or, whatever it is. They are making a statement and it's a direct result of #Twitch Blackout. I'm telling you, they gave this as their reasoning. As is our process, we take appropriate action when we have evidence that a streamer has acted in violation of our community guidelines or terms of service. These apply to all streamers regardless of status or prominence in the community. I don't know.
That's interesting. I do actually recall hearing about this men's bathroom thing, but now I can't remember exactly. But wasn't he just doing like a selfie sort of recording of himself in the bathroom? I can't remember what that was about.
He was in character, and he was doing his thing, and it's against Twitch. First off, E3 kicked him out because you're not allowed to record in the men's bathroom, but then Twitch banned him as well because you're not allowed to record other people, using the bathroom. There were other people in there, using the urinals, in the stalls. So
Bad decision. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know. I would like to see more details on it, but I mean, if they're coming down on this sort of behavior, and if there actually was something where he was, to be honest with you guys, I've never watched his stream, so I don't know much about Dr. Disrespect, but if there was something where he was allowing that sort of behavior in his stream, not suggesting that there was something like that, I mean, I guess kudos to Twitch for making an example, but hopefully they're not just doing this to make an example and doing something that's kind of completely uncalled for. But I guess we have to wait for more details.
I mean, he's had a lot of complaints. I mean, look at his name. His name is Dr. Disrespect, right? So I mean,
right.
He's gonna ruffle some feathers having a name like that, and certainly he has. I'm sure people have reported him multiple times, but it's in character. I don't think he's a bad guy. His character is just disrespectful, right? And some people might take that the wrong way, or he blatantly, and I don't know the details, or he just was blatantly wrong about what he did. I don't know enough about it, but anyway, that's what's going on in the world of Twitch today.
Interesting. Yeah, guess we'll keep our eyes on that. Report back if we find out anything else.
Yeah. So let me fly. I'm going to fly through this last part. Okay, Newzoo, guys. Newzoo is a games and esports analytics firm. Their forecast right now is for 2020, global games industry will reach 159 billion. 159 billion. Guys, 159 billion, okay?
Billion with a B.
Billion, all right? They have a very highly cited annual report. People watch this report. They trust these guys, okay? The gaming industry revenue has jumped 9.3% year over year, up from 145.75 billion. That's a lot of money, guys. That's like $15 billion in 1 year that it's grown. It's expected to exceed $200 billion in 2023. They believe a lot of the surge, this year so far has been from the COVID-19 lockdown. In the past 3 months, the month over months have been they're saying 59% higher than it was last year. Based on the COVID crisis. So let me help you guys. Let me paint a picture for you, right? So we're saying video games, 159 billion. Television, right? Television is a 226 billion industry.
Wow.
We're not far off from that.
Whoa, that's crazy, dude.
Publishing, right? So let's talk about books. Not just books, all kinds of publishing, magazines, all that stuff. Publishing is 261 billion. So even more than television, right? But we're pretty close to that. You know what gaming is beating, though? Can you believe this? Well, first off, books alone is only 121 billion, so we already got them beat. We're catching up on television, but we're already beating film. 101 billion for film. Can you believe that? Box office is only 42.5 billion. I know I'm throwing some numbers at you. And then music, even music, the video game industry is just annihilating. They're only at 62 billion. So we're killing film and music, and we're catching up on television, and publishing is going to be the last one. I'm telling you guys, 10 years from now, gaming is going to, it's going to be the top. It's going to be the top. More people are going to be playing video games than they are going to be watching TV. 10, 15 years, I think it's going to happen. Here's a couple more stats. This is very interesting to support my claim that I just said there. Of the 7.8 billion people on our planet, 4.2 billion have internet, and 2.69 billion play video games. So, more than a fourth of the planet plays video games, and well over half of the people with internet play video games. And Newzoo predicts that number of video game players to be at least 3 billion by 2023. So, come on, man, that's crazy. I can throw some numbers in the description. I'll tell you some more here. North America, you would think would be pretty high up there. We're not even up there that high. We only make up 8%. We only make up 8% of that market. 210 million folks in America, compared to Asia Pacific, the Asia Pacific islands as well. Almost 1.5 billion. Makes up 54% of that market. So Asia Pacific, 1.5 billion compared to the 210 million in Northern America. So that's India, that's China, that's Korea, that's Japan, that's all those places. So I mean, just a huge gap. I thought it would be more in North America, but I
guess population probably plays into that, obviously.
Yeah, dude, you're right. So I just wanted to throw those numbers out there. I thought that was very interesting. I actually wanted to add one more thing. Mixer got bought out by Facebook. Okay, so I
didn't know about the Facebook thing, but I heard that Mixer got shut down.
They got bought out by Facebook. So Facebook now owns Mixer, and with that, all of the streamers that Mixer recruited from Twitch, stole from Twitch, paid them millions and millions of dollars. They get to keep that money, but they're allowed to go back to Twitch now.
Yeah, so I heard that, dude.
Holy crap. Anybody that didn't take that Mixer offer is like crying right now. They're in the corner weeping.
I heard that Ninja left Twitch for Mixer for like tens of millions of dollars. And now
so did Shroud.
Shroud too? Yeah, so they get to sit easy with that tens millions of dollars and still go back to Twitch and still make them more money. I mean,
they were making more money on Twitch than they did, on like a daily stream on Mixer. But they got that huge payout, so they get to have that huge payout and just go right back to Twitch, dude. Oh my God! Is anybody related to Ninja? Distant relationship by any chance?
Come on.
Can you call him? Can you call him for me, please? Help me out. I need a new camera. We need to get AJ a new camera. Stat, guys. Get that donation. Let's do it. Come on now. Anyway,
need that Sony A7.
That's all I got.
Pop this bad boy right here. Sony A7 is pointing right at my dome. That's awesome, dude. Thanks for running us through those stats. I think that's extremely interesting. I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, everything. I kind of wonder what do they consider to be video games, because do they consider VR like video games just inherently? Because people are going to transition to VR and start watching TV in VR and movies in VR. Maybe reading in VR. Who knows? But I think that's extremely interesting.
It's explicitly video game sales.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. What better form of entertainment is there? I mean, for even myself, like I've got two young kids, like by the time that they grow up, a few more years from now, I'm sure they'll be playing video games, and that'll be a great bonding experience for me and my two sons. And maybe we can even convince the wife to jump in on some of the action, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see.
You wives out there, you guys listening? Hey, wife downstairs. Hey, Muggle. Nah, she's down. She's played video games with me before. She's not bad. She's not bad. She's laughing in chat.
Maybe you can help me convince mine.
Muggle, we need to recruit you. Let's get you recruited real quick. Anyway, she can help us. She'll help us.
That's right.
You got a couple shout outs, I hear.
Yeah, so that does it for the main portions of our show. But I think something new that we're going to start doing here is that at the end of the show, we're going to give some shout outs to some other podcasts, because we're in this for the podcast community I've found, and I think you found as well, Reese, is that the podcast community is so welcoming. Like through different Facebook groups, Instagram, networking, and things like that, everyone's so welcoming for a new podcast like ourselves. And there's a lot of other people out there trying to make it. And so we want to start giving some shout outs to the podcasts that we like and that we've spoken to and things like that, and just kind of share the love. So a few here that I kind of want to talk about. The Just Talk podcast is a podcast kind of similar to ours, a group of guys who just talk about video games, pop culture, things like that. So check those guys out. The Beers and Beards, the D on that second one podcast, very similar again to ours. They've got beer and they've got beards. So, cool. Very similar, but these guys are very knowledgeable when it comes to like bourbons and different beers, and just really fun to listen to, very relaxing. Got good radio voices. And then the last one, I've already mentioned the Church of MMA earlier in the show. They're great for, the Church of Hops I mentioned earlier in the show, another beer podcast. And then finally, one that I really enjoyed listening to this week was the Lost Script podcast. These guys are hilarious. Please go check them out. If you're into some humor and you want some laughs in your day. So essentially the kind of the premise of their show is that they basically predict what a movie is about solely based on what the poster of the movie depicts. So they take a movie poster of a movie they've never seen before. They predict what the movie's about, but they do it in a funny way. Like they make, these crazy assumptions about what a character would be like and what the plot lines would be. And like they talk about the first, second, and third act, and it's just hilarious. And in the second half of the show, they actually watch the movie and they compare like what the results are, and just hilarity ensues. So check out all those podcasts. Cool. I found all of them on Apple Podcasts. Well, I found them through Instagram, people I'm kind of networking with, but they are all available on Apple Podcasts. So please do share the love and check those guys out.
Yeah, and while you're on Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star review. It would help us tremendously, guys. We would appreciate you so much. We appreciate you guys being here as always. Check us out on Google. We're there, guys. We're on Google. Like and subscribe on YouTube. All of this would just be very helpful to us. And if you haven't, please make sure to hop on our Twitch channel. You're watching us now, or if you're watching us or listening to us elsewhere, stop by, drop us a follow. We would appreciate that. And leave us some comments. Let us know your thoughts about everything that we've talked about.
Yeah, I think number one of all, I think we just want to build a community here. We want to engage with you guys and get to know you and sharing the love of tech and video games, and especially craft beer.
Yeah. What's your favorite beer? Who's your favorite fighter? What's your favorite piece of technology? You got any favorite gadgets you got going on? What's your favorite video game? Throw it at us, man. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. Let's go.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Cool. Anyway, all right. Well, with that one, I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. It's been fun. We'll see you then.
See you guys. Talk to you later.